to Success Matters. Success Matters is a podcast series about everyday people sharing what success means to them. My guest today is up-and-coming creative Ignitious Moyo. Hear how he looks to ignite your life. So Ignatius, I know we've spoken about this before, but where's your name from? What's the origins of your name?
I think like in origin it's Latin.
Okay.
It means fire. Someone of a fire spirit, of like a fiery spirit, or something like that.
Okay.
I remember like looking up the definition like a while ago, and yeah, like I think for some reason it pops up here and there like across the world. I
Yeah.
think in the UK it's usually like we've got like a few Saint Ignatiuses as school names, and
Okay.
then yeah, I think like there was like a popular Saint Ignatius a while ago. And then yeah, in Zimbabwe, like I think there are a couple Ignatiuses here and there, which is where I'm from. I'm from Zimbabwe,
Right.
and I think yeah, like the name pops up here and there as well, quite a bit over there. Yeah, and then I think like a few Latin American countries, like we've got Ignatios or a variation and in
Okay.
that direction and things, and yeah.
So you're a fire starter, is that what it means?
Yeah, yeah, something of the sort. Yeah, it's. I've always said like it's a name that gets a reaction. So yeah,
Yeah.
good and bad in that.
And that's going to be a good segue to the question that the previous person has asked. So
Okay.
we'll hold on to that one
Well, hold on.
for the moment. So this we met really through work, right? You were
Yeah.
part of a graduate scheme, and you then left corporate world, or kind of semi-corporate world, to go into
Yeah.
your own thing. So what have you been doing over the last few years?
I think like I've been on a bit of a journey. I graduated from university like with a 2-1 in computer science, and I
Right.
think I was like I've always been excited about technology and the advancements that it offers, just like to I guess like the world in various ways. And I've always just been excited about finding a way to make an impact in that space. So coming out of university, I've had a number of roles within the tech space, and yeah, I've had a number of roles with like varying responsibilities,
Mhm.
and I've just always been trying to find like the perfect mix for me. While doing that, I've always been experimenting with developing my own businesses and figuring out how to, I guess, like maximize on my potential.
Right.
So yeah, that's been my journey um, in a nutshell.
So you've kind of moved from a tech space into more of a creative space using tech as an enabler? Would that be a kind of
Yeah,
summary?
to a certain degree. So I think I've always been like also interested in like the creative world, and figuring out how to bring tech into that. So I think after I left the Verizon graduate scheme, I had a job working within a digital co-creation agency. So that their whole thing was they would help work alongside content creators in order to create content to, I guess, like help whatever the organization's commercial efforts are. And then with that, like they had like their own native app that they developed. And yeah, like we're just figuring out how to make it easier for both like the content creators and also the companies to work together. So I like that where it's like it's bringing tech and the creative space together. And yeah, like I was keen to like kind of continue growing in that.
Hmm.
And then yeah, like I started my own business while I was there. Like it was very nurturing because I worked with like an exciting team.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, they were able to kind of give me a bit more of that push, like, hey, like, like the stuff that you're talking about doing, I think you can do it yourself, mate. And I was like, okay, cool. And then, yeah, kind of gave me the push that I needed, or like the push that I wanted to kind of help me get started within my own business. And then while doing that, while still figuring out like the independent business side of things, like I've worked for, I think, one or two other organizations. And
Hmm.
yeah, like it's been an exciting journey.
And so now are you fully kind of self-employed in your own business, or are you still kind of doing two or three things all at the same time?
I think yeah, I'm doing two or three things at the same time. So currently, I work as a client partner for a software development company.
Hmm.
We produce websites and apps, and yeah, a few other novel items for businesses, mainly within the publisher space. But then yeah, like we're quite open and adaptive.
Hmm.
And yeah, outside that, I've run two companies, and I think longevity wise, like I'm excited about the opportunity to um, get better at doing many things at once. I don't think I ever want to get to a point where I'm just doing one or two things.
So that there's a drive inside you, right? Wanting to do lots of things kind of all at the
Yeah.
same time, but I'm sure you're not doing everything all at the same time. You're kind of finding the time to do the things
Yeah,
to do.
yeah. I think I'm a big believer in systems, and I think like if you're able to develop a system that works for um, you as an individual, and then also works in maybe unison or is able to fit into your life in general, I think you can get a lot done.
So what sort of system do you operate then?
I don't know. Like I think sometimes I've got like a keen way of looking at the world, and I think everyone has their zone of genius, and
Right.
some have multiple zones of genius. Some have maybe just one. Like one is all you ever really need. So I think even if you know like if you center in on one zone of genius for yourself, then I think you're in a very good place in your life. Or if I think it kind of comes to Maslow's hierarchy, and then at the top is
Hmm.
self-actualization, and then I think like as long as you're working or you're operating from at least one of your zones of genius, like you're in that space of feeling self-actualized and you're a happier individual. I don't know, like it's kind of first worldy to be able to get to that point, but then it's like I think a lot of people with Maslow's hierarchy, you're coming from the bottom, so it's like the more physiological needs, and then you're building up to self-actualization. But then with me, my system kind of starts me from the top. Like my decision making is based on self actualization being the first point of priority when it can be. Oh, it
Right.
can't always be. But then, yeah, that's how my system's structured. Yeah.
So how many zones of genius do you have?
How many zones? I think, yeah, I'll say one for the sake of humility, one or two for the sake of
Oh, don't be
humility.
humble.
But then I've always been keen to try new things. And like one of my favorite points in any project is usually the beginning. Like I love the beginning of things because
Hmm.
um, the potential is just like whatever feels limitless. And yeah, like with that's allowed me to like in really enjoying that feeling or that part of the process has allowed me to try so many things like over the last like 15 years. Like I've like made short films, I've like produced music, I've produced events, I've made clothing, I've made websites, I've there's so many things. And then like I think past that you start to kind of um think, oh yeah, I really enjoyed doing that thing, but then I don't think I'll do it again.
Right.
Or it wasn't as rewarding as I expected it to be. And then
Hmm.
there's some things that are like, wow, that was really good and that was quite rewarding. And I think I've got ideas on how to do it better the next time. And then yeah, like I think like events has been that for me. Like the first few events, I was like, mate, I'm never doing that again. But then I'll do something, and then like it will feel like I need to produce an event in order to kind of take this. I don't know to market this better or to bring more exposure to whatever I've just done. And then first few times I felt forced to like keep going back to the event space offering or whatever. And then like it got to a point where it's like, all right, like I'm really enjoying this and I'm getting better at it and like I'm getting really good feedback and then it starts to become just like a natural thing to do. Um,
Right.
yeah. And it starts to feel like a quote unquote zone of genius.
So that's leads me nicely to you had your face up on the
Um,
screens at Piccadilly Circus.
yeah,
What
yeah.
was that all about?
There's this really exciting platform within the London creative space called GUAP Mag, and I, they do so many amazing things. One of them is basically spotlighting emerging talent within the creative community.
Hmm.
And they've got this project called the 30 Under 30 list, where they spotlight 30 creatives who are doing amazing things or like things that they're excited about. And then yeah, like they had a editorial piece attached to the project. So they had us in, took photos, made some like video content. Like we had like an interview type setup where we answered some questions around who we are, what we're excited about in terms of our careers in the future, and then yeah, the other side of it was them getting like the short film or like the video content, the video and photography content, what's it called, on the billboard, the digital billboard in
Yeah.
Piccadilly Circus. Yeah.
I mean, that must have been an amazing feeling to see your face up there.
I don't know. So that's the thing. Like
Okay.
I didn't get to see it in person. That's the thing.
All right.
There was like a bit of a hiccup where we were supposed to have like the viewing in I think maybe like 3 weeks ago,
Hmm.
and then there was a hiccup, and then they had to set a new date once they and let us know, or at least like they let us know what the new date was after I'd already like confirmed to produce an event at the Soho House in White City. So it was like a little bit, I don't know, it's not all the way bittersweet, but then yeah, it was like, oh, like I can't even make it, mate, like I'm doing something else.
Did any of your family make it to see it?
No, no, no. It's
Ah,
because to be fair, like I'd made like this. The exciting thing is like I'd made like a good group of friends, or like I'd made I'd made friends with like some of the people that I'd met during the process of
yeah.
like being involved in that project, and yeah, like I asked like a couple of people to capture some content for me. Yeah, so it was
So
really
I'm
good.
honoured to be speaking to someone who's been recognised for the talents, right? 30 under 30. That's got to mean something.
I think it's exciting, and um, I think also what's exciting is the part of like the creative space that I've been involved in um, is very DIY, and it's
Hmm.
like 5 years ago, like literally, it was just like a bunch of kids being like, "Hey, like I think I want to try this thing out, I want to try this thing out," and then like there really wasn't the idea that like make anything substantial or like there wasn't an example. It was just it wasn't even a hope. It's just like I want to try this, I want to try that, I want to try that, I want to try that.
Hmm.
And like now we're seeing I'm seeing like my peers like who I kind of started around the same time as just really do some amazing things. Like a lot of like the amazing projects that that you probably see like let's say Stormzy just put out like a music video. Like
Yeah.
it's people that I started with like that produced the video. Like even like people like Stormzy. Like these are people that started like around about the same time. Like we've had like interactions. Like it's like this.
Like a movement. So,
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely, 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 definitely. So yeah, yeah. So it's good. It's good.
yeah.
So I think that's probably one of the most exciting parts of it is like knowing that like there's like there's been progress. There's been like a lot of progress made in a short period of time and unexpected progress. Yeah.
So on that note, and as you know, the title of this podcast is Success Matters. So what does success mean to you?
I think it's like self actualization. A lot of it for me because like if I can just like go into like a bit more into my history, like I was born in Zimbabwe, and like my grandparents like would like they grew up in the rural areas, so it's like in the sticks, like no running water and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
then like my parents were born into that, and then like they were able to kind of work and like my dad was a soldier, my mom was a nurse, they're able to like work and then just kind of go through that process of
Mhm.
uh, I guess social mobility to a certain degree. And then that exposed me to like a range of like lifestyles from a very early age. Like I'd be going like visiting my cousins, like they're living in the sticks, or like
Mhm.
they're and then like later on I got to go to boarding school and then like private school and stuff like that. And then like the friends I grew up with like weren't really doing that. So I felt like I had this like feeling of like survivor's guilt for a little bit, where it's like I feel like I've had like a number of really good opportunities that um not everyone's had.
Mhm.
And yeah, like, and I didn't think I was the most deserving of these opportunities. Like I wasn't really taking advantage of them. Like I'm not too excited about like education in terms of just like sitting in the classroom and just like learning in that format. Like, so I feel like me being like in a private school and having like expert teachers or whatever, like passing me this information when like I'm not as excited. So yeah, survivor's guilt. And then like I've always been excited about finding a way to alleviate that. And I
Mhm.
think after some soul searching or whatever, I was like, if I can figure out a way to like spread out the opportunities that I've had and share those with other people, then I will feel better within myself. And then like I won't feel like, like I've had these opportunities and squandered them or whatever. So yeah, like over the last few years, like I've just been working on like ways to connect people and share opportunities. So that's what kind of got me into events. And then a lot of the events that I produce, like the main things like I run a company called When We Share,
Mhm.
because I believe when we share, we all grow. And then the creative events company that I have, called Style and Sound, sits underneath that umbrella organization. Yeah, like I've been producing events to bring creatives together to share information, resources, and opportunities. Um, so like we've done like smaller events, 30 people in a room. That we've done much larger events like where we've had I think over 2,000 people join
Wow.
us and spend the day in a festival type format, in a creative festival type format. The next stage is figuring out how to digitize that
Mhm.
sharing of value. So I've built out this platform called Ayana, which basically works like a Fiverr, where people are able to, put up service offerings. So like as a photographer, I can just list like, hey, I'll do these are my rates, this is what I charge for my photography services. I'll do a studio shoot for you for your e-commerce brand or whatever.
Mhm.
These are my rates, this is my availability. And then like through the platform, like you can book the individual, you can yeah, like pay them through the platform, discuss the basically everything that you get with a Fiverr. And then yeah, like that's allowed me to kind of create like kind of feel like um sharing the opportunities that that I've had in life. And that's my idea of success.
That's really cool actually, and particularly for someone so young, right? To have such a, I know you're that not that young anymore, but
Yeah.
it, it's like, yeah, oftentimes people will talk about other things that mean success, and so giving is a really it's a deep way to look at, right, what success means to you, which is great. So thanks for sharing that with.
Thank you.
So you've built all these platforms, and clearly they're starting to get traction. What's next then after that?
I don't know. To be fair, yeah, like that almost stumped me a little bit. I don't know what's next. Like I'm always excited about the future, and I think
Yeah.
as long as I'm in a position to be excited about the future, then um yeah, like I'm pretty happy. And I think yeah, like next is probably um making sure that I'm still excited about the future. Apologies for like some of the abstract answers.
That's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine. It's yeah, we all have a different perspective on life, right? And the whole point of this podcast series is to hear different
Yeah.
perspectives. So it's great. And yeah, thank you for sharing that. How would you describe life. I'm just kind of thinking about, right, growing up from rural Zimbabwe where you had no running water, and life was probably completely different to what your life is like now. How would you describe that journey?
Can I answer the previous question again?
Yeah,
Like,
of course. Yeah.
I just wanted to add to it. I'm becoming a stronger and stronger believer in manifestation. So I wanna manifest something that like I wanna kind of put out there. Hopefully, I deliver on. So under the When We Share umbrella, like I'm looking to develop a brand called Next in Pharma. So like I've worked within the pharmaceutical industry. I work for Informa, among other things, a knowledge and networking company, and then
Hmm.
I've grown like the appreciation for just like sharing knowledge in a constructive way, or maybe in a more systematic way. And then yeah, like I'm excited about developing an events brand to begin with that allows for people within the pharma space to connect and share information without some of the heavy price tags that are normally attached to pharma events.
And
So I
pharma,
think
just for clarity, you mean pharmaceuticals, right?
yeah, pharmaceutical, yeah. Basically, like yeah, mostly like the drugs development space. Usually big pharma companies or like the smaller biotechs. So I'm looking to work on that project in earnest and turn it into something of strong value to the pharma space as a whole.
Hmm.
So hopefully taking like some of my learnings within like producing events for the creative industry and bring that to the pharmaceutical industry. So that I think is hopefully what's next. While also like continuing to deliver within the creative industry. So I think that will need me to like grow a strong team.
Hmm.
Um,
So now by putting this out there, you're going to
yeah,
manifest, right? Because you put it out there.
yeah, I'll put it out there. Like I'm like I think like I'm a really strong believer in manifestation.
Hmm.
Um, I think before not so much in terms of needing to vocalize things in order to bring them to fruition. Because whatever, like it's all intent. Like as long as you've got that intent, like
Yeah.
you're gonna move in that direction. But I've found that over the last like 2, 3 years, like if I say it, it kind of starts to happen.
Yeah. The kind of the universe aligns for you when you say it out, right?
Yeah,
To the world.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have that? Do you have that view as well? Like, do you have what are your
I
thoughts
do.
about
I
manifestation?
do. Yeah. And my perspective on it is you you kind of making a commitment, right? You're making a commitment to yourself, but when you put it out there, you're also kind of you're telling someone, right? And that someone's going to ask you at some point, what's happening with that? So it's kind of you've created
Yeah,
a commitment cycle already,
yeah.
and so I very much believe in that.
What would you say? I know it's supposed to be like me being interviewed or
That's all
but
right.
in the sense of making a
Conversation.
conversation. Like yeah, what are some of the things that you've manifested recently or
Well, this
in
podcast
general?
series is one, right? So
Yeah.
I was looking at how I could. Okay, so stepping back, when we think about success, oftentimes success is shown as fast cars, fancy houses, lots of money, that sort of thing. But I know that for many people, that's not what success means to them, right? So I was thinking, how can I capture the spirit of what success means to different people with different perspectives? And I was speaking to a friend who's also going to be coming on the podcast, and he said, "Well, why don't you do a podcast?" And to start with, I thought I couldn't really kind of bring the two together, and then he also said, well, you know a lot of people, so why don't you ask them? And so I reached out to you and I reached out to the others, and that's how this has happened. So it was that kind of conversation, and that manifestation is now what we're doing.
I love that. I love that. That's
Mm.
really good. Like yeah, and I think I was saying it to you last time when we spoke, like it's a very organic process. Like it seems like it's been an organic journey to get to this point for you.
It always is, right? It's never a straightforward linear kind of knock down one domino and the other one will follow. It is very organic in the way it
Yeah.
grows and goes. So that brings me to the question that my previous guest
Yeah.
asked, and so the question that she raised was.
My question for the next guest is, what sparks your success?
Just general excitement. I think it's there's this lyric by this British rapper called Resh 2, and he says, "I don't give as good as I get. I give my everything." I just enjoy the idea of everything being as good as it can be. With that, it's like you give in as much as you can, and then you get in as much as you can, and then it's the whole thing where it's like the whole is bigger than the sum. So I think like if we have that, you know, that whole that idea to things, then it means that things just keep getting better, or like how good can we make it? Like, you know, like that's the idea. I think that's what sparks me. How good can we take? How good can we make it? How far can we take it? And all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you. So, this idea for asking you the next guest came from Steve Bartlett's Diary of a CEO. And, normally he asks the guest to write it down and doesn't record it, but I'm doing it slightly different. I'm asking you to record here what the question is going to be for the next guest. And, we'll then ask the next guest that same question. So, do you have a question for the next guest?
What? I'm trying to think of a question. What?
It's difficult because you don't even know who the next guest is, right?
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. Who's your favorite person that you haven't met yet?
Well, thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for sharing what success means to you. It's been really, really insightful, and I've kind of seen you at the start of your work journey, if you like, you know, your career, and to see you develop so far and so fast is pretty amazing. If people want to get in touch with you, how should they contact you?
My email address is Ignatious. No, which one should I give? That's the thing. Which email address should I give?
Whichever one you look at most often, I suppose, and the one that's easiest for people to remember and type out.
It's hard to say. It's because I think like I use social media more, but then like social media is just always transitioning. But yeah, like
Insta, Twitter, whichever, TikTok handles, whichever you use.
Okay, best way to get in contact with me is ignatius@msn.com.
Brilliant. Well, thanks once again. It's been a pleasure.
No, thank you very much, Sanjay. This has been fun, and yeah, I'm excited to see this and the other interviews. So yeah, please keep me posted.
I definitely will do. To find your success, contact me at info@successmatterscoaching.com. That's info@successmatterscoaching.com.